Hi, I'm Ian McClintock, and I'm the founder of the Charity Excellence Framework. I've also been chair of a small grant-making body for about 10 years. Finding funders and getting bids in is usually everyone's top priority, but securing funding is now hugely competitive. However, the quality of your bid is at least as important, and getting that right gives you a real advantage. So I'm going to talk about that too. Everyone tends to be interested in where to find specific funders, so I'm going to focus much more on trusts and foundations. However, the points I'm going to make about getting a winning bid will apply in other fundraising techniques as well. But what's charity excellence got to do with funding your strategy? Well, for a start, it's a completely free digital toolkit and it enables you to increase your impact and income and save money. You can health check every area of activity, the whole lot, in half a day. And what you're interested in is it has the largest resource base in the charity sector. That includes all of its funder lists, the 6 COVID toolkits, and its funder database. But it does more than that. It's created big data for the charity sector. This is the interactive dashboard today. The performance is in the middle, and we see we're doing reasonably well. And these are unpacked underneath in the tables. These two down here, income generation and communications, are both amber. Amber means that the majority of charities are not doing these well. And digital is a key component in both. But digital is what we're talking about. So let me extract the digital data. You can search using over 100 criteria, including things like digital fundraising and websites, but this one is just looking purely at digital itself. There are 25 different areas of activity tracked. 22 of them are at amber. We're not doing this at all well. Lack of resources is clearly a major issue. But much of what this is identifying is about how effectively we use those resources. Point one to take away from this presentation is that there's a great deal that we can do right now without needing to secure additional funding. And in using the database, this is how it operates. You can see the resource icon there. And if what you need to do is to convince your trustees that you need more funding for your comms, you would work through comms, and there you go. The system finds what you need so that you don't have to. But starting on funding, as a chief executive, my primary interest was to make sure that those projects that I put into the budget were the ones that were most valuable and would have greatest impact to charity. Beyond that, all I was really interested in was maximising the fundraising income from Scottish. So what I would ask the fundraisers to raise funds for would be the most attractive projects, not necessarily the projects that I thought were most important. So if your project is not hugely attractive to funders, but is really important, you can still take that forward, but you're going to have to convince your chief executive. The three questions that I always asked were, what is the need and what impact will this have? What options are open to us and why is this the best one? And do we have a robust, realistic delivery plan, timetable, and budget? And you need this information for any of your funding bids. Moving on, there are a number of tech funders out there. You can find them using the various funder databases, either paid or free, or you can use Charity Excellence funder lists. For example, there is a funder list specifically for tech funders. It tells you a little bit about each, and you can then just click straight through to the website to apply. And there's another one for corporates, if that's an area you're exploring. I've grouped the tech funders into sort of four main groups: the major players, National Lottery; tech specialists, like the Social Tech Trust. But don't overlook niche funders who will specifically fund tech projects for a particular area. So, for example, the Family Fund, disabled people. And there are opportunities on an international basis that can be worth looking at, people like Google and Microsoft. And there is a substantial amount of COVID funding. The COVID funder database in Charity Excellence is the single comprehensive source of funders in the UK and is updated weekly. Sales pitch. Competition is fierce, but there's often quick turnarounds and applications are usually simpler. If you're using the database, you can search specifically for tech funders using that category. Whatever system you use, be aware that many of the funders are actively supporting adapting to the new normal. And digital has a key role to play in that. So it may be worth applying to them on the basis of creating adaptations that enable your charity to survive and get through COVID. If you are going to use the database, though, be aware that COVID funding isn't quite the same as normal trust funding, and I've built in additional functionality to help you find the maximum number. So you need to watch that video. You can find it either in system or on the YouTube channel. But there aren't a huge number of tech funders in comparison to all the others. So think about how you're going to package what you're doing. For example, there are funders out there who will specifically look at funding good ideas and startups. People like Allen Lane or Aviva Community Fund. There is a list of these downloadable in Charity Excellence. The other way to approach this is to pitch to your own sector's funders. For example, if you work in the youth sector. And what you do is you look at this from the perspective of a project and the impact it will have in meeting the needs of the young people you support. And then you apply to them on that basis. There are a whole range of sector-specific funder lists, so you can just download these if it's not something that you're used to doing. And don't forget, this isn't about what you want. It's about what the funder wants and what your beneficiaries need. And if possible, and it isn't always possible, engage the funder before you apply. There is no magic yardstick, but roughly, if you apply to a funder cold without approaching them, your success rate will be something like 1 in 10. If you have engaged the funder, it can be something like 1 in 3. So it's always a good idea. And if you have the chance, get some feedback. For example, they may say to you, oh, this year the trustees' priorities are this, or the trustees really like that, or there's an aspect of your bid that they're not that enthusiastic about, but that aspect they really like. And this information can be really valuable in tailoring your bid to meet their needs. Give them what they want. And these are 2 easy ways. But many, many people who apply just don't do this. If you don't meet the eligibility criteria, your application will not be considered. Don't waste time on that. And when you have found one you're eligible for, make sure you comply with any instructions. How it's to be submitted, specific information they ask for, any deadlines or word counts. They're always happier if you give them what you want. It improves your chances of success. And make your case well. Include the facts, figures, arguments that make it really compelling. Explain why you are best placed to deliver this project and convey the urgency of the need. And be clear about the funding you need and what you're going to spend that on. It needs to be short, clear, and understandable for anyone that's reading it. That's often no more than a couple of pages. If it's a Sunday afternoon and I've read 15 bids and you're number 16, I will read it, but if it's 10 pages long, I may miss that key point that you want me to get. And make sure it's jargon-free with any acronyms easily understandable or explained. Many of the people who sit on trust boards are not at all tech savvy, so clear, plain English is always best. And make sure it's emotionally engaging. Funders do not give to business plans or IT systems. People give to people. And what they want to know is that the funding that they will give you will make a real difference to an issue that matters to them. If you want to access all the detailed funder lists and the funder database and join the community of 8,000 plus charities who are already with us, go to charityexcellence.co.uk and click register now. You'll find everything you need in one place and everything's free. I wish you every success in securing the funding that you need. Good luck.